Streaming live now on News8000.com. You're watching WKBT La Crosse. This is News 8 Now, This Morning.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Alexandra Carter.
And I'm Derek Sibley.
It is Monday, November 27th, 2023. Monday is here. Monday after a holiday weekend. Monday after a week off for you.
It's always hard to come back after that long break. Yeah.
And especially when you're greeted by, such cold temperatures.
Oh, man. Yeah. I was vacationing in the South.
Right.
It was so much warmer. And then I come back to very cold and December-like temperatures.
You're just hit in the face with it, huh?
Exactly. Yeah.
Hopefully you remembered your jacket.
Oh, absolutely. I did. I wore one of those puffy jackets, to keep yourself warm.
You're going to need it out there today,
for sure. And the heat was on, believe me, in the car. Yeah. You'll need it here throughout the day. The temperatures right now are in the teens and low 20s. The teens are pretty much everywhere except La Crosse and Prairie du Chien and Bosque Belle. We're looking at the 20s for those spots from La Crosse, Prairie du Chien, and the Bosque Belle area there. But you can see our wind chill values, our feel-like temperatures are well into the single digits. It feels like it's 0 in Eau Claire, with feel likes currently at 5 in La Crosse. And you'll need that jacket here for the morning walking conditions there for you and your furry friend. And really throughout the day today, could turn mostly cloudy briefly by the afternoon, mostly clear but cold heading into the evening hours. I'm also watching a few light snow flurries that continue to linger across our southern communities. All of that is still moving its way towards the southeast. Now, after we get through the rest of those flurries, the sky is looking mainly cloudy through at least 9 o'clock this morning, and then really just a mix of sun and clouds throughout the day today, with highs into the low 20s this afternoon. But it will be on the chilly side, I got to warn you, because of that west-northwest breeze between 10 to 15 miles an hour. We'll talk about the wind chill in more details coming up in a few minutes. Alexandra?
Thank you, Derek. We will see you later. Time now for our morning headlines. The Tomah Fire Department is releasing new details this morning on a structure fire that displaced 10 people over the weekend. Firefighters say they responded to a call of a heavy fire coming from a window above the Peking Chinese restaurant on Superior Avenue just before 8 a.m. Saturday. Officers from the Tomah Police Department were the first to arrive to the scene and helped evacuate everyone inside. Officials say 47 firefighters from the Tomah, Oakdale, Fort McCoy, and Volkfield fire departments battled the blaze for roughly 11 hours. The cause of the fire remains under investigation. Happening today, the La Crosse Common Council will meet at noon to discuss the city's lawsuit against PFAS manufacturers. The first thing expected to come up at the meeting is the allocation of roughly $45,000 worth of legal fees associated with the lawsuit. The second thing on today's agenda will discuss the next steps and what they will be in the city's class action lawsuit against PFAS manufacturers. Today's meeting will take place in the Miller Room of the La Crosse City Hall. We are in the fourth and final day of an agreed upon temporary ceasefire between Israel and Hamas in exchange for the release of hostages and prisoners. That is, unless both sides can agree to extend the pause. Yesterday, Hamas released a third group of women and children hostages that included a 4-year-old Israeli-American girl. The U.S. is hopeful 2 other American female captives will be released soon. In addition to the release of hostages, more humanitarian aid has been promised for entry into Gaza as well. CBS News correspondent Naomi Ruckham has more from New York.
Tearful embraces as hostages freed by Hamas reunited with family members in Israel over the weekend. Sunday, the terror group handed over a third round of hostages, this time as many as 17. Among them was 4-year-old American citizen Abigail Moore-Edan, whose parents were killed during the October 7th attacks.
She has family, and we're taking care of her, so don't worry about it. And it's very important to let her be now with the family.
In a video message, the young girl's aunt thanked everyone for their support and asked for privacy. The White House says President Biden spoke with Abigail's family by phone yesterday after her release.
We will not stop working until every hostage is returned to their loved ones.
The president also had a call with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. He says he told Biden that he would welcome an extension of the temporary ceasefire in exchange for the release of an additional 10 Israeli hostages per day. Netanyahu also says his country's fight against Hamas will restart in full force once the pause is over. Cheers erupted in the West Bank for another group of 39 Palestinians who were freed from Israeli prisons yesterday. More humanitarian aid trucks are also moving into Gaza as part of the deal, though local residents say it is not enough. The United Nations warns the region could be on the brink of famine.
The Pentagon confirms a U.S. Navy ship responded to the distress call of a commercial vessel under attack by armed people in the Gulf of Aden. The armed group attempted to flee but were captured and surrendered. The U.S. also says 2 ballistic missiles were fired in the direction of the 2 ships from Houthi-controlled areas in Yemen, though neither vessel was harmed. And a little closer to home, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer is announcing he will bring a new national security package to the Senate floor next week that includes aid to both Israel and Ukraine. That package also expected to include more funding for border security. The new package comes as some Republican senators balked at the idea of sending more aid to Ukraine. After nearly 7 decades, a staple of La Crosse's South Side is closing its doors. Schmitty's Bar and Restaurant announced in a Facebook post it'll close after 68.5 years in business. The restaurant is set to close on January 1st of the new year. The post says the restaurant is for sale, but there was no explanation given for the decision to close. The nation will be on the move this holiday season. Train travelers on the east side of the state could soon have a new option to get to the Twin Cities. WisDOT says Amtrak is planning to open a second daily round-trip passenger train next year, going back and forth between the Twin Cities, Milwaukee, and Chicago. The new route would only travel the 411 miles between those cities, a 7.5-hour trip. WisDOT says more than 70% of people at Wisconsin stations are traveling to stops on that route.
It's definitely something I think a lot of people, and myself included, would probably be interested in.
More than 124,000 people are expected to ride the new route in its first year of service. The goal of the new line is limiting delays and providing more reliable trains, sharing tracks with Amtrak's existing Empire Builder route between Chicago and the Pacific Northwest. According to Wisconsin's DNR, around 854,000 tons of still edible food was thrown out in the state in 2020. Now a proposed bill could help reduce that food waste and get more of the excess food to people who need it. A bipartisan group of state lawmakers is introducing legislation that would give $200,000 over 2 years to organizations working on food waste reduction efforts across the Badger State. State Senator Jeff Smith of Brunswick is one of the lawmakers spearheading the food waste bill. He says the funding will help support innovative programs and solutions to get excess quality food to food banks and pantries rather than sending it to landfills. Pope Francis is canceling his commitments today as he continues to suffer from lung inflammation. That's according to a Vatican spokesperson. Today's cancellation of commitments comes just days after the Pope was admitted into a Rome hospital over the weekend after experiencing difficulty breathing. While in the hospital, he was given a CT scan. According to the spokesperson, the scan ruled out pneumonia as the cause of the breathing issues. He also said that the Pope was in, quote, good condition and that his breathing issues are improving. The holiday shopping season is now officially in full swing, but before you start checking off your shopping list, the U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission is warning that not all toys may be safe, especially those bought online. Mandy Gaither has a few tips on how to make sure all the toys you buy this Christmas are safe for your family.
You want the best gift, but before you buy a toy, make sure it's the right one.
Do see too many toy injuries happening each year.
Last year, 11 toy-related deaths in children 14 and younger were reported to the U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission, most from choking or asphyxiation due to small parts, balls, or balloons. The agency says there were also an estimated 145,000 toy-related injuries treated in emergency departments for children 12 and younger.
A lot of those actually are non-motorized scooters. So making sure that the toys are age appropriate. Look for the warnings on the toys as well.
To keep kids safe, check the labels for age guidance. Make sure what you're getting is appropriate.
Even if you're buying for an older child, think about if there are younger kids in the household too, to make it safe for everybody.
To know a toy is safe, look for a certification mark that shows it's been independently tested for safety. If buying online, check drop-down menus for additional safety information. If purchasing secondhand products online, make sure what you're buying hasn't been recalled. Online sellers may also be from a third party, so make sure they're reputable.
Far too often what we find is some of these people are based overseas, and when we see a defective product and we go back and want to recall, they just disappear.
If you'd like to check out what items are currently being recalled by the U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission, visit their website at cpsc.gov/recalls. Still ahead on your morning news, more fruit is being recalled after a salmonella outbreak that has spread across 32 states. We'll tell you what you need to check for in just a few minutes. And consumer advocates are issuing new warnings on the new unknown trend known as skimpflation. After the break, we'll take a closer look at what it is and how you can spot it. That and more coming up this morning. For now, we're sending you to break with something to put the good in your morning. If you weren't already hungry, you're going to be after seeing this. Krispy Kreme is celebrating a holiday classic. The donut company is releasing 3 new donuts to mark the 20th anniversary of the holiday classic Elf. The new donuts include the Buddy Snow Globe donut, the Christmas Lights donut, and the Buddy Makes Breakfast donut. I can only imagine what's in that one. It is a limited time offer that ends December 12th. Don't go anywhere. Your consumer news at News 8 Now this morning is after the break.
Well, we're still tracking a few very light snow flurries that continue to move across our southern communities this morning. No accumulation expected with some of these flurries because they're just too light, but they will continue to move through portions of our neighborhoods, though, this morning. Our current temperatures are very cold. Bundle up as you get ready to head out for your morning commute, as we're looking at the teens and low 20s. 13 in Eau Claire now. In La Crosse, you're currently at 21 degrees, with wind chill factors making temperatures feel like they are in the single digits. And in fact, in some spots like Eau Claire, it currently feels like it's 0 degrees, but it feels like it's 5 in La Crosse and feeling like 9 currently in Winona. Your zone forecast today, highs reaching the 20s in La Crosse County today. It will be 22 in West Salem and a high of 26 expected today in Berry Mills. Heading south into Viroqua, we'll be at 20 degrees, 23 today in Lansing and a high of 26 in La Crescent, 22 in Stoddard. Moving north into the central zones, 20 today in Blair, 21 in Melrose, 21 as well in Winona, 21-2 in Mondovi, and highs reach around 22 degrees around the Eau Claire area. Mix of sun and afternoon clouds, and that's in the forecast here for today as well. But cloudy skies to start with the bus stop, 18 degrees. Bundle up with a few flurries out there, especially down to the south. 23 degrees, partly cloudy skies as we head back home from school around afternoon dismissal time. I will check on that full weather forecast still to come in a few minutes.
Thank you, Jarek. If you're trying to have a healthy breakfast this morning after Thanksgiving, we have a recall to tell you about. Cantaloupe is being recalled in response to a deadly salmonella outbreak. According to the CDC, there have been a total of 99 cases of salmonella connected to the outbreak across 32 states. So far, it has caused dozens of hospitalizations and 2 deaths in Minnesota. The recall applies to Rudy brand whole cantaloupes, Freshness Guaranteed brand cantaloupes, and Racetrack brand pre-cut cantaloupes. Symptoms of salmonella, by the way, include fever, nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea. Life at Sea Cruises is canceling its 3-year around-the-world cruise. Why? It doesn't have a ship. The cruise was originally going to set sail from Istanbul on November 1st. That was postponed twice and moved to Amsterdam, and now it's not happening at all. The cruise company says it's working to refund passengers, but the process will likely take a few months. In the meantime, some passengers say they have nowhere to go. That's because many of them sold or rented their homes in anticipation of leaving for 3 years. Unsealed court documents are alleging social media giant Meta collected data from the Instagram accounts of children. Attorneys general from 33 states are suing the tech giant for allegedly refusing to shut down user accounts of users reported to be between the age under the age of 13 between 2019 and 2023. The complaint also says the company had violated several state-based consumer protection statutes and the Children's Online Privacy Protection Rule. Another day, another victory for union organizers. The Portland Teachers Union and the school district have struck a deal. The agreement would end the weeks-long strike by educators and send them back to the classroom. Union officials say they're happy with the agreement. According to teachers, the new deal will provide a pay bump as well as address class size and planning issues. Consumer advocates are warning shoppers they may be getting shortchanged on some popular products at the grocery store. Michael George explains the hidden trend known as skimpflation and how you can stop it.
Have you ever had a favorite product you've been buying for years that suddenly seemed a little worse?
I have with toilet paper. It used to flush more easily, it used to not clog anything, and now it's clogging very frequently.
The reason may be something consumer advocates call skimpflation. Consumer World's Edgar Dworsky explains.
Skimpflation, very simply, is when a manufacturer reformulates a product with cheaper ingredients. He may actually literally water it down.
Skimpflation is a side effect of inflation. As some companies pay more for ingredients, they cut back but charge you the same price. Last year, Smart Balance Spread changed its formula from 64% vegetable oil to 39%. They said to make it easier to spread. When customers complained, they changed the formula back. Skimpflation can show up at the grocery store, in cleaning products, and even over-the-counter medications. And too often, consumers don't even notice it's happening.
The trouble is, it's very hard to detect. If a manufacturer of beef stew, let's say, used to put 4 ounces of beef in the package, and now all of a sudden it has 3 ounces, you're not going to see that on the label.
It's disappointing to know that you're getting the short end of the stick as the consumer, paying the same amount for, inferior quality products.
Dworsky says to spot skimpflation, you'll need to be a savvy shopper.
If your dishwasher detergent doesn't clean as well, if your stew doesn't taste as good as it used to, if your paper towels are thinner than they were, you're getting less for your money.
Pay close attention and you can avoid getting shortchanged at the grocery store.
While products often list the ingredients on the packaging, many don't include the quantities of each ingredient, making this trend even more difficult to spot. That does it for your morning consumer news. It is 6:20. Time to check in with Derek for a look at today's forecast. Derek, shrinkflation, skimpflation, tipflation, it just never ends.
Yeah, I know. It's just so many. Yeah, there's so many terms out there. Didn't even realize that we all run into now at the grocery store. Yeah, be careful. Let's talk about CityCam. Well, it's clear out there now. We're watching some flurries out there early. They since have continued to move their way down to the south. We got cloudy skies, though, currently in La Crosse. It's 21 degrees. West winds at around 23. Very windy out there currently, making wind chill values at 5 degrees. So yeah, you're definitely going to need to bundle up out there this morning on what does feel like a December morning, even though it's still late November. We are looking at 13 degrees now in Eau Claire. It's cloudy here. We got wind chill values at 0 degrees from that west wind blowing at 10 miles an hour. Temperatures across the rest of the area this morning, well, they're mainly into the teens here, but we do have 19 in Viroqua and same here towards the west in Winona. Your planner looks like this. We go from cloudy skies with temperatures at around 18 to mostly cloudy 21 at noon, mostly sunny and 21 degrees at 4. Then we're back into the teens as we head closer towards the early evening hours. Wind chill factors very cold this morning into the single digits. Some spots are even below 0. We are going to be looking at wind chill values warming up, though, into the single digits. Not too much, though, as we head into the late morning, just barely. And then by 5 o'clock still, very similar trends, single-digit readings expected, and that trend does continue as we head into tonight. Now, heading into early tomorrow morning, still not really a whole lot of changes, still single-digit readings for wind chills. Look at the winds, though, changing directions coming up from the south. That could help wind chill values warm up, though, more so into the mid-teens, however, as we head into tomorrow afternoon. And really the same can be said here as we head into early on Wednesday morning. Still very cold, though. I think you will need the jacket here over the next few mornings. And you can see that we are tracking some of those snow flurries, mainly centered around the Viroqua area and also down south around towards the Mount Sterling area, too. Those flurries continue to track their way down towards the south and east here this morning. And this is all associated with this very strong low pressure system system over Canada. We're under the effects of this wraparound here, and that is giving us the very cold and chilly conditions moving in from the backside of that low, and also some leftover moisture containing some flurries that you're seeing here in some spots down to the south this morning. So cloudy skies will continue across much of the area, mainly north here as we head throughout the day. By 6 o'clock, a lot of those clouds do come to a close, and we're looking at some clearing skies as we head into overnight. And also into early tomorrow morning, the clouds look like they may start to increase with this next system moving in from the west, giving us what will be a pretty cloudy day here for tomorrow afternoon. And then clearing here as we head into early Wednesday. A little bit of some cloudy skies, though, by Wednesday morning. And then we are going to be looking at some clearing come Wednesday evening. A check on your 8-day forecast. Highs in the 20s again tomorrow, low 40s Wednesday and Thursday, upper 30s, though, for Friday and Saturday. Lows mainly into the 20s. Alexandra?
40s sound pretty good right now. Thank you, Derek. It is 6:23, still ahead on your morning news. Over the weekend, the region was blanketed with its first snowfall of the season. News 8 Now's Shaquille Davis scooped up some La Crosse area resident reaction to the recent fluffy precipitation. We'll hear from them later in the newscast.
Later in sports, the latest on Justin Jefferson. Minnesota superstar hasn't played since week 5, and he's set to miss his 7th straight game. Hear from the young superstar coming up during the Morning Blitz. Welcome to the Morning Blitz. Yesterday we had an NFL day with neither the Packers or the Vikings. Of course, the Packers getting a big win on Thanksgiving, but the Vikings, they're gearing up for an important Monday night game against the Chicago Bears. The Vikings' 5-game win streak was snapped last week, but at 6-5, they still remain in that 6th spot for the playoff race. It's even more important with it being a divisional matchup, and if they can get a win tonight, it's likely Justin Jefferson will return after the bye week.
It's definitely frustrating. It's tough to, be patient and trying to make sure an injury heals properly. It's definitely not, something that I want to do, but it just comes with the game. It comes with trying to be healthy, trying to be 100%, and just, carrying the safe route.
All right, this will be the 7th straight game that Jefferson has missed, and even though the young wide receiver is due for a huge contract extension, he's adamant about getting back out on the field with his team. Vikings versus Bears, 7:15 tonight. All right, in case you missed it on Saturday, the UWL Eagles got a big 56-35 win over Aurora University and are officially into the quarterfinals for the first time since 1996. It was a big day for the WIAC Offensive Player of the Year, Kaiser Helterbrand, who finished the day with 399 total yards and 7 total touchdowns. And if you haven't had the chance to make it to a UWL home playoff game, don't worry, you'll have another chance next week. The Eagles will be hosting defending D3 champion North Central next Saturday at noon as the Eagles continue their quest back to the top of D3. All right, to the NBA, Dame Lillard averaging 25 points a game this season for Milwaukee, and he had it going in this one. First quarter, Lopez makes the extra pass to Lillard, wide open, knocks it down, Bucks up 2. Portland would lead by 26 at one point, but here comes Giannis. Driving up the lane, lays it in, plus the foul. Bucks chipping away. Fourth quarter, Bucks down 13, but it's Giannis again going high off the glass. Another and one, Bucks within 10. Then with 3 minutes to play, Bucks down 3, and it's Dame time. Lillard from beyond the arc. That finds the bottom of the net. We're all tied up. 90 seconds to go, still tied. Lillard to Malik Beasley, money. Bucks would take the lead and they wouldn't look back. They would erase a 26-point deficit, the largest comeback in the NBA this season. Giannis and Dame combined for 64 points. Next up for Milwaukee on Tuesday against the Miami Heat for the in-season tournament. All right, that'll do it for the Blitz. We'll see you tonight.
You're watching News 8 Now. Expect more.
Welcome back. The Coulee region had its first major snowfall of the season this weekend, and many La Crosse residents spend part of their mornings cleaning it up. News 8 Now's Shaquille Davis has the story.
I was lucky enough to go out and move around the city today and catch up with some of the locals and see how they fared during the city's first major snowfall that hit us last night. And according to some La Crosse residents, well, there wasn't too much to complain about. In La Crosse, residents are responsible for removing snow and ice from the sidewalks near their homes and businesses, but they only have 24 hours to do it once the snow ends. A good portion of the community got up early in the morning to clean their sidewalks and driveways. By the afternoon, a lot of neighborhoods had clear walkways and sidewalks. Some individuals had so much time on their hands, they helped the snowplows out and got rid of the snow in the streets. As for the main roads, cars were running smoothly with no issues. Richard Delecki, a former voice actor who is now retired and lives in Unalaska with his wife, didn't have too many issues with the snow this morning. Besides the troubles of trying to clear his solar panels, he had nothing but nice things to say about the snowfall.
It was beautiful this morning, though, with snow coating the trees and everything. It's kind of like a picture-perfect morning, really.
The snow could also be gone in a few days according to the forecast, as if it was never even here. But while it is here, remember to follow La Crosse's winter code enforcement rules, like sidewalks should be cleared to the full width when measurable amounts of snow is on the ground. We will have more on the winter code enforcement rules over on our website, news8000.com.
And with the slick road conditions only going to get worse for the season, it's important to be extra cautious of deer when driving. According to an official with Wisconsin's DOT, drivers are expected to hit as many deer this year as they have in the last 3 years. But data from Wisconsin's DNR shows overall car deer accidents have been on the decline recently. The DNR says most car deer collisions happen in October and November when deer are most active during their breeding phase. Driving slow at night and scanning roadsides can help you prevent yourself from hitting a deer. Now that Thanksgiving is over, many families have started to deck the halls, and finding the perfect Christmas tree is an important part of that. Families flock to Snowy Ridge Christmas Tree Farm over the holiday weekend. In addition to pre-cut trees, you can also cut down your own tree at the farm and participate in a number of family-friendly activities.
For me personally, we've been doing this for close to 30 years, so now children that were little when we started are coming with their children. And I almost get emotional thinking about that because they always come up and I get a hug and thanks for doing this. And, this is our family tradition is what I hear a lot. That's my favorite part.
She went on to say some years they sell out in a couple of weekends, but this year they plan to stay open until December 24th. The big man himself made a stop in Reedstown this weekend. At the annual Cookies with Santa event, there he is. Families got the chance to pick out a Christmas tree, visit with Santa, write letters to Santa, and enjoy fresh cookies. Additionally, folks could warm up in the greenhouse where there was hot chocolate and photo booth for family fun photos and other activities that focused on family quality time.
We really believe in getting families off of their electronics, and we've got 200 acres here, and we have events all throughout the year to get kids unplugged, and they come down and they play by the creek down here, and they just wander the gift shop, they wander the grounds here, and we just believe that families need time together.
And there was even some Christmas shopping for people looking to get a jump start on their holiday shopping. Now here's Derek to tell us what to expect for our morning commute. How is it looking out there, Derek?
Definitely very cold and chilly, Alexandra. I would recommend blasting that heat here throughout the morning in your vehicle because we got temperatures that are into the teens and single digits. Now let's talk about your commute. Watch out for some slick road spots this morning. That's why I do have yellow lights there, but we will be looking at chilly and cold conditions around the lunch hour. And even though it will be pretty dry with mostly clear conditions by this evening, your evening commute still featuring some pretty cold conditions. Current temperatures right now, bundle up. You'll need the jackets. We're into the teens and at low 20s as you head out the door with wind chill factors, making our temperatures feel like they're currently into the single digits in many spots. And now I'm also watching a few leftover flurries that continue to move towards the south and east here this morning. Those should clear out, giving way to mostly sunny skies today. 26 degrees, still chilly and cold. West-northwest winds 10 to 15 miles an hour tonight. A few clouds, temperatures dropping down to about 10 degrees, and west-northwest winds not as breezy at around 5 to 10 miles an hour. A check on your full weather forecast coming up again in a few minutes. And also coming up in our Buzz Report, John Travolta is using his experience as a pilot to make a new movie. We'll tell you everything you need to know about The Shepherd. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Looking at some mostly cloudy conditions, as you can see behind me there from CityCam 8 in downtown La Crosse, it does look like most, if not all, the flurries have cleared La Crosse, but we're still tracking a few of them, which I'll get to here in a second. 21 degrees is the current temperature now in La Crosse. Look at the wind chill factor at 5 degrees when you factor in the very breezy westerly winds currently sustained at 23 miles an hour from that last observation coming from the La Crosse airport. Meanwhile, if you're in Eau Claire, also very cold and chilly here as well, with cloudy skies here too. Your temperature's at 13, but the wind chill factor at 0 from that west wind at 10 miles an hour currently sustained up there. Current temperature readings are mainly into the teens, some of us into the low 20s as you saw from La Crosse. Right now in Sparta you're at 17. Black River Falls very cold at 8 degrees, and we're seeing 19 currently towards the west around the Winona area. Now temperatures will warm up to about 21. It will be a little bit on the mostly cloudy side of things by noon today, and then turning mostly sunny with 22 degrees being the temperature at 4 o'clock. Clear skies are in the forecast here by this evening, but temperatures dropping to about 19 degrees. Now I got to warn you though, wind chills are very cold here today, and also this morning. You can see our current wind chill values are into the single digits. That trend doesn't really change too much as we head into the morning, and really not a whole lot of changes are expected either as we head into this afternoon, even into tonight. Still looking very similar into the single digits. In fact, it's colder in some spots as well. By tomorrow morning, again, still single digit readings in many spots, but the difference is coming tomorrow because we will be looking at that southerly wind profile taking shape, and that should help warm up our wind chill values just a little bit into the mid to upper teens, and the same could be said as we head into early on Wednesday morning. Now again, we are tracking a few light leftover snow flurries mainly down in the south around Vernon County into Viroqua, and also down south into the Mount Sterling area, pushing their way now into the Richland Center area. But other than that, conditions are looking quiet. Got a few leftover cloudy skies towards the north and the south. Widening out the view, you can see what's responsible for the cloudiness along with the cold and the flurries. That's all thanks to that big low pressure system well towards the north. Here's the cold front that moved through, bringing some very cold, chilly conditions on the backside. And we're looking at some leftover moisture here this morning as well with the clouds and some of those flurries there. By 11 o'clock, most of the clouds mainly well towards the east and north. That should clear out by around 6 p.m. here. And by overnight, things are looking nice and clear, but still very cold. Here comes some increasing clouds moving in from the west, heading into the day tomorrow. That's from our next disturbance moving through. Some leftover clouds here possible into early Wednesday. By 9 a.m. Wednesday, still looking cloudy, mainly north of La Crosse, and then some clearing skies are expected heading into Wednesday evening. All right, check now on your 8-day forecast showing highs in the 20s again for tomorrow, and then warming up into the 40s Wednesday and Thursday, followed by highs dropping into the upper 30s for Friday and Saturday.
In our Morning Buzz report, SAG-AFTRA is revealing the full details of its tentative deal with studios. The 128-page contract includes additional benefit plan funding, updated use of intimacy coordinators, and new guidelines for the use of AI. The move comes ahead of the vote to ratify the new contract, which will be on December 5th. Previously, 86% of the board voted to approve the deal.
General, we are discovered. Good.
In your weekend box office recap, Thanksgiving came in 5th place over the weekend with $7.2 million. Trolls Band Together got $17.5 million, and 4th place. Wish came in at 3rd with a little over $19 million. That's not a great showing considering the film's $200 million budget. Finally, The Hunger Games: Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes beat out Ridley Scott's Napoleon, bringing in $28 million to claim the top spot.
Calling all channels. Come in. Multiple instrument failure. Electrical failure. Fuel status critical.
John Travolta is drawing on a near-death experience to make his new movie, The Shepherd. The short film tells the story of a young 1950s pilot in a bad situation. It's quite similar to a situation Travolta found himself in during 1993. The Grease star was flying his family over Washington, D.C. when he experienced total electrical failure and had to make an emergency landing. The Shepherd will be out on Apple Plus on Friday. The Doobie Brothers are raising money for the victims of Maui's wildfires. They released a charity single Titled Lahaina, all proceeds from the song will go to support victims of the Maui wildfires. The band will also donate $100,000 to the People's Fund of Maui. Looks so beautiful there.
Yeah, such a great cause too.
Yeah, we just hope they can get, restored as soon as possible.
Recover.
They will for sure. Well, before we head to break, it's time to look at today's Look Who's 8.
We got a handful of birthdays this morning on this Monday, and we are going to start off with Freya, who is turning 8 months old today. Now, she is always smiling and just got her first tooth too. So
big things happening over there.
Happy birthday.
And Jace is turning 8 years old today. He loves hunting and fishing with his father and grandfather.
We got Kate, who is also turning 8 years old today. Now, she loves cats, doing gymnastics, and ice skating.
And Aubrey is also turning 8 years old. She loves spending time with her family and friends and also loves all animals.
Audrey is turning 80 years old today. She got to spend her special day spending time with her 3 daughters. So
yeah, look at them there. Looks like they're having a good
family.
time. Norman is turning 88 years old today. He's a lifelong fan of the Green Bay Packers, has 10 children. That includes 9 daughters and 1 son, and he is a veteran of the Marine Corps.
Wow, big family there.
Yes,
Yeah.
9 daughters.
9 daughters, and thank you for your service as well.
Yes, and happy birthday. And if you know a special someone turning 8 weeks, 8 months, 8 years, 18, 80, or 88 years old soon, we'd love to feature them.
That's right, just upload their photo to our website, news8000.com, and look for the Submit Pictures button underneath the Home tab on our website.
Stay with us. We have everything you need to know today in 5 minutes or less. Your Morning News Now is up next. Welcome back. It's 6:51. The Toma Fire Department is releasing new details on a structure fire that displaced 10 people over the weekend. Firefighters say they responded to a call of a heavy fire coming from a window above the Peking Chinese restaurant on Superior Avenue just before 8 a.m. Saturday. Officers from the Toma Police Department were the first to arrive to the scene and helped evacuate everyone inside the building. Officials say 47 firefighters from the Toma, Oakdale, Fort McCoy, and Vokefield fire departments battled the blaze for roughly 11 hours. The cause of the fire remains under investigation. Happening today, the La Crosse Common Council will meet at noon to discuss the city's lawsuit against PFAS manufacturers. The first thing expected to come up at the meeting is the allocation of roughly $45,000 worth of legal fees associated with the lawsuit. The second thing on the agenda will discuss what the next steps will be in the city's class action lawsuit against PFAS manufacturers. Today's meeting will be held in the Miller Room of La Crosse City Hall. A staple of La Crosse's South Side is closing. Schmitty's Bar and Restaurant announced in a Facebook post it'll close after 68 and a half years of business. The restaurant is set to close on January 1st of 2024. The post says the restaurant is for sale, but there was no explanation given for the decision. The nation will be on the move this holiday season. Train travelers on the east side of Wisconsin could soon have a new option to get to the Twin Cities. WisDOT says Amtrak is planning to open a second daily round-trip passenger train next year, going back and forth between the Twin Cities, Milwaukee, and Chicago. The new route would only travel the 411 miles between those cities, a 7.5-hour trip. WisDOT says more than 70% of people at Wisconsin stations are traveling to stops on that route.
It's definitely something I think a lot of people, and myself included, would probably be interested in.
More than 124,000 people are expected to ride the new route in its first year of service. The goal of the new line is to limit delays and provide more reliable trains, sharing tracks with Amtrak's existing Empire Builder route between Chicago and the Pacific Northwest. As the road conditions get worse as we head closer to winter, it's important to be extra cautious when you're driving to look out for deer. According to an official with Wisconsin's DOT, drivers are expected to hit as many deer this year as they have in the last 3 years. But data from Wisconsin's DNR shows overall car-deer accidents have been on the decline recently. The DNR says most car-deer collisions happen in October and November. That's when deer are most active during their breeding phase. Driving slow at night and scanning the roadside can help prevent you from hitting a deer. Now that Thanksgiving is over, many families have started to deck the halls, and finding their perfect Christmas tree is on that list. Families flock to Snowy Ridge Christmas Tree Farm over the holiday weekend. In addition to pre-cut trees, you can also cut down your own tree at the farm. and participate in a number of activities for the whole family.
For me personally, we've been doing this for close to 30 years. So now children that were little when we started are coming with their children. And I almost get emotional thinking about that because they always come up and I get a hug and thanks for doing this. And, you know, this is our family tradition is what I hear a lot. That's my favorite part.
She went on to say that in some years they sell out in a couple of weekends, but this year they plan to stay open until Christmas Eve.
And as you head out the door this morning, keep in mind it is not only cold, but we're also got some slick roads out there in some spots from the snow that happened over the weekend, turning to ice here as well. Temperatures are into the low 20s this afternoon under a mix of clouds and sun. Very chilly thanks to that west-northwest breeze today. Your 8-day forecast showing highs will be into the 20s again tomorrow. Mostly cloudy though. Mostly sunny returns on Wednesday with highs into the 40s, not just Wednesday, but also into the day on Thursday. And we're looking at highs dropping into the 30s by Friday and Saturday. Our lows into the 20s.
Yeah, I know that 40 looks so good compared to what we're feeling
exactly,
right now.
Yeah, we'll take 40s any day of the week.
Yeah, for sure. So be sure to bundle up as you're heading out the door this morning.
Definitely.
All right, thank you, Derek, and thank you for joining us this morning. We will see you back here at noon. Have a great day.